culture wars have been the bread and butter of British politics for most of its history until quite well. So my theory is essentially that you have a brief period of maybe 50 years after the Second World War where politics is much more on the basis of left and right on an economic sort of basis, tax and spend, trade unions, and all that. It's a material thing, basically. Not solely, but largely. Tories are the party of small business and professional classes, and the middle classes, and Labour are the party of organised working class and that sort of thing. However, I think that is an unusual exception to the rule, because before that, and now increasingly over the last 10, 15 years or whatever, most British politics has been heavily about these sort of cultural wars where two sides see each other as have completely different visions of what the country should be and how people should live, and in terms of things like their lifestyle, their beliefs about either God or gender or whatever it may be. Yeah. Culture wars. However, culture wars are the norm, and what we've seen is essentially the 40 or 50 years of unusually and actually generally quite more civilised debate, probably like most of the time. If you look at the 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe not so much the 80s, but even then, like Labour and Tory, they disagreed on economic distribution and those sort of issues, but they didn't. On a lot of sort of cultural and social questions, they didn't necessarily radically disagree. They were both probably most Labour, working class Labour supporters were pretty socially conservative, to be honest. They weren't, if you'd have said to your average Labour voter in 1960, do you think a woman can have a penis? They'd have thought you were mad. So there was a lot of consensus on cultural questions in that period of British politics after the Second World War.